First, I'm hoping, before I get into that, that we can just quickly have our guests identify themselves so that our students, who should all have their notebooks open because you're not taking the critique notes, you're taking notes so that you can write a reflection on this. Without reflection, there's no learning. Who these people are that are coming from the community. They are our honored guests, and you should take note of that. Jeremy, Boris, you got something to write on? Yeah, please get something out. Okay, from the far left there, my far left.
I'm Paula, Pezza, and I am an alderman in Elmhurst in the first ward, which includes York High School.
Welcome, Ms. Pezza.
I'm Kevin York. York High School is named after me. Alderman, 4th Ward, City of Elmhurst.
I'm Chris Healy. I'm 5th Ward Alderman for the City of Elmhurst.
Bob Hedrick, parent of Elmhurst high school student here.
Welcome, Mr. Hedrick.
Biggins, my wife went here, my children went here, but I didn't. But anyway, state representative and my colleague on the left.
Welcome, Representative Biggins.
Dan Cronin, state senator.
Welcome, Mr. Cronin. And a representative from the Elmhurst Press.
Kimberly, Fornek from the Elmhurst Doings.
Oh, Doings. Okay.
Big difference.
Well, as these people are all leaders, so is the press. They're opinion leaders. They help the community understand what's going on. In the English 11 curriculum, it's a skills-based curriculum. Obviously, we're teaching literacy skills, reading, writing, speaking, listening. This advocacy project that students are working on began as just a letter. It was pretty much an opportunity for students to locate something that they could advocate for, and then researching it and writing up a letter that they then mailed to a representative who could possibly do something in the community about it. All of this stuff, I was telling Representative Biggins, can be found on our class wiki, which is at wiki-land.wikispaces.com. Let me know if you want the specifics. We can give you those. But basically, it was just a reading and writing opportunity for students to take their ideas and present their cases, their arguments to somebody out there in reality who could do something about it. What this advocacy project does is simply bring in the speaking modality and the listening modality and thus extend it and also give us the opportunity to bring it to a wider community than just the English 11 class. It is also an inquiry-based curriculum, which means that it's based on the students' questions. We give a large curricular question, in this case the one you see on the screen. How should a responsible student address social injustice? So once you've found something wrong, what are you going to do about it? These questions are at the core of the curriculum, and each student answers it in his or her own way. Just to give you a quick scope of what some of the options were that students found interesting, something that bothered them personally, we had authentic inquiries into the child soldiers in Uganda. We had prisoners of conscience on the mind of one student who made this nice mashup video and advocating for help for them. We had a student in this very class who looked at what physical education is like in Illinois public schools, specifically in 205, and advocating for some serious reforms to that. And we also had a student who looked at the very real possibility of nuclear devastation and apocalypse. So quite a big range of advocacy programs were there. So it was all web-based, it was all via the digital media, and this, of course, is in time with the district's goal to bring this global education as a real thing to every student in the district. Now, this question that students have asked, really the reason that we hope that you guys are coming and listening is not just to understand what the next generation of citizens is concerned about, but also because you have a wisdom base that they don't have. And so you will see some presentations that are really strong on the problem side, but they're not so strong on the solution side. And of course, that's what we hope that you can bring. So when we have the presentation, we hope that you'll ask questions, but also be able to help them answer how can you address, maybe better than it's already been conceived of, the social injustice. So our guests, we ask you to please do ask those questions if you don't quite understand, you want to challenge something that's in the presentations, but also please give us your advice. You are the elders, you are the respected community members who are resources to these young citizens. This is all in fulfilling the larger social purpose that John Dewey articulated. John Dewey, of course, big American educational philosopher, who said that the democratic ideal of education involved cooperation between the community and the schools, that we need to be helping pursue the common pursuit together. And no offense to any lawyers who might be present, that's not Mr. Biggins, perhaps it's Mr. Cronin, yes. John Dewey said that by law and punishment, social agitation, discussion, society can regulate and inform itself in more or less haphazard and chance way, but education is where society can formulate its own purposes, organize its means, resources, and shape itself with definiteness and economy in the direction in which it wishes to move. What these students have done is determine a certain direction that they think society should move, and we're hoping that you can help them chart that course into a better future. So, students, you should be taking notes. You're going to be writing a little reflection on this, and a big thank you to our honored guests. Our first presenter for you today, and they're all filling out the critique sheets for you, so you'll get some more valuable feedback, those of you who speak today, is Kevin Delahanty.